Hello folks, R1 here. Today we're going to take a look at a realistic battle that took place on Karelia. We're going to start this battle out in your bog standard M4 Sherman, but that's really not the main feature of this video. After the first engagement, we're going to take a closer look at the M15 GMC Gun Motor Carriage for the American lineup, and well, a brief cameo appearance by an M24 Chappie. That's fairly satisfying. But the battle starts out pretty traditionally. We have pretty much all spawned in the southwest corner of the map at the spawn point closest to our capture point that we are trying to defend. Most of the enemy team has spawned in the northwest corner, the enemy team. And we move into defensive positions, both sides, and dig in. Now, I'm not going to show you a great deal of the beginning of this battle. It's a pretty standard affair, almost trench warfare. We all get into positions that we can defend easily, we all have good cover, and we start laying in fire on the other side. I end up damaging quite a few tanks. I get damaged in return. I will lay in a couple of very good artillery strikes, set a few tanks on fire. But all in all, the gameplay is generally fairly unremarkable for the first half of this match. Things don't really start getting lively until in the course of trading shots with a Tiger to the right and an Ostwind in front of me. And out of nowhere, I get blowed up by a Hinkle's 111 bomber. This put me in the mood to deal with the aircraft that were becoming more and more prevalent in this match. So I find myself jumping into the M15 Gun Motor Carriage. Now, I've played it a few times, briefly, in a few matches prior to this. It's not very well upgraded at this point, but I've been looking for a good opportunity to put it through its paces. It has the same limitations that a lot of vehicle or truck or half-track mounted flak units have, in that it can't fire very well straight ahead over the cab of the vehicle itself. It forces the gun at too steep an upward angle, but in all other directions it has an excellent arc of fire. Now, this vehicle, while fairly fast, is not one you want to go racing around the battlefield in. It's very top heavy. It flips very, very easily. So I found it's best to get into the position that you want to be in and use the excellent turn speed of its gun platform to track targets all over the battlefield. It has very good range and accuracy, so I'm not really going to move very far from where I spawned. And if that serves to draw aircraft toward me, looking for easy kills in the spawn, so much the better. Aircraft such as this Ju-87D that's coming in for an attack run. And that ends in spectacular fashion. That was quite possibly one of the most impressive aircraft crashes I have seen in game to date. It was remarkable. So we're going to get ourselves in a little bit better position so that we have a little bit better field of fire and wait for our next target of opportunity. There is a lot of aerial activity in this map on both sides, and I don't have too long to wait. There's an ME-410A prowling on the other side of the battlefield. Now, he's really too far out for me to have much chance of tagging, but between myself and another anti-aircraft unit that has spawned in here at our base, well, we can lay down a pretty withering display of anti-aircraft fire. Now, I know, as I said, he's a little too far out for us to realistically hope to take down, but one of us has tagged him. He's starting to smoke already, and I know how these heavy fighter pilots think. With their, I think in this case, 4 20mm cannons in the nose, they can pop an anti-aircraft unit pretty quickly if they can survive the fire on their way in, and often will head directly toward you. Which is exactly what he's doing, but he does fixate on a target on the other side of these rocky outcroppings from us. And that proves to be his undoing, because he comes right into a perfect arc of fire, and I'm able to take him down. This anti-aircraft unit has 250 caliber machine guns and a 37 millimeter anti-aircraft flat cannon, and it can be very, very effective. Now, I don't know what the M16 is doing right now. I think he was backing down, trying to avoid getting strafed, but he continued to fire and set an M15, like myself, that had just spawned in to help us. He set him on fire. Yeah, I hope that wasn't intentional, but, well, the M15 driver doesn't appear to find it amusing, accidental or not, so he's going to promptly turn his weaponry around and obliterate the M16 Gun Motor Carriage, which I'm not really too happy about that, but I really kind of understand, and given the situation, I might have done the same thing. It's kind of funny, because at the time, I didn't even realize that little exchange had taken place. It's amazing how many things you pick out as you're watching a replay like this, and sometimes I don't catch those details until after I've completed the narration and I'm looking at the final edit and go, oh my goodness, what I thought was happening was not really happening at all. Anyway, it was an exchange we really didn't need, but I'm going to start scanning the horizon. There's another incoming aircraft out in the distance. Unfortunately, he's out over the nose of my vehicle, so I don't have a very good shot at him as he circles and sets up for his own attack run. Fortunately, he's going to cut back directly over me. He's engaged with that LA-7 up there, or trying to avoid being engaged with him, one or the other. It goes directly over me, but I have a little trouble keeping up with him. He's moving a little too fast, and I've moved into a position where the rocks, while offering excellent protection, are also inhibiting my field of fire. So I move back out a little bit, which is a little risky. I have to watch fire coming up from the main battlefield down below as well. And he's not the only plane in the sky right now, so I've got to watch out. There's an MB-410, a VF-109. Lots of targets of opportunity up there. I just need to be able to capitalize on them, and that MB-410 obliges by coming directly at me. Another excellent crash on that same pinnacle of rock. Visually, this has been a pretty interesting match. And he almost got me. Also, he set me on fire. I had to use my extinguishers to put myself out and continue on. Now, I feel reasonably confident. We have a T-34 that's guarding the entrance to the spawn. American bomber just went down in a suicide attack, which I wish he'd stayed in the air. We could have used his bombing support. And here we go again. That was a fairly fortunate hit. Let's see if we can tag him again. Yeah, there we go. VF-109, he flew right into my line of fire. I couldn't have set it up any better than that if I'd tried. And I'm not sure this is a good sign. We've got two flak units over here now. I think this means that we're getting close to the end of our available tanks on our side. And one of those units is backing up. Lady Luck there is backing up and firing at the entrance, which worries me. And I suddenly realized the T-34 defending our entrance is already dead. I open up on that Tiger poking his nose through, and I do some damage, but I'm his first target. And he takes me out with one shot, which made me pretty sad. I was kind of on a roll with this M15, but, well, most of our team is dead, and this match isn't going to last very long at all. The only thing I have that might be able to deal with a camping Tiger in our spawn point, at least to my way of thinking at the time, was this Sherman with the 105 millimeter howitzer. And I'm going to tear into him as best I can. This is not an ideal situation. That Tiger's well angled and facing me at a position that I can't get around to his flanks very well at all. I'm going to try and damage his gun and crew as best I can to slow down his return fire. I managed to take a shot, but he's damaged my gun in return. We're both trying to take out the enemy's offensive capability as best we can. Put another shot into his gun. See if I can stop him from firing, but well, I hit it pretty good, but it's not going to keep him from getting off another shot here in just a moment. I'll try for the driver port. Let's see if I can get some damage through there, but there's just a little too much drop to the shell and it impacts on these front glacis. So I'll do the only thing I can. I'm going to take one more shot from this position and then try and move forward to get a little bit better angle on his flank. If I can get a shot into his side, I might be able to ammo rack him, but unfortunately, he nails me, and I blow up. That kind of irritated me, to be honest, so the last tank I have in my lineup is a Chaffee. And suddenly, I'm not feeling so bad about my situation. The Chaffee is a very underrated tank. I'm going to slam a good shot right into his turret right off the bat. I have speed and mobility, and this guy thinks that the match is over already. And he's just laying about him with his machine gun without a care in the world. Well, before this match is over, I'm going to teach him the error of his ways. Critical shot, and he's on fire. And suddenly, he doesn't seem quite as cheerful as he did a moment ago. I think he puts out his fire, so I think he doesn't really feel that he is in a huge amount of danger so far, but he does finally stop firing his machine gun foolishly into the ground. And I'm going to come up behind him. Now my gun takes a weird bounce here and I missed that shot, but it really doesn't matter. He's been pretty torn up by my Sherman, and now we're just going to kill systematically everything inside his hull. I'm not terribly fond of spawn campers anyway, so I'm going to put one directly into his turret hatch and assassinate him. I feel a little bit better now. Now, I'm horribly outnumbered. The match is going to be over in a few seconds. There's nothing I can really do about it. I can't capture that spawn point, so I'm just going to go down fighting. I'm going to put as many shots out there as I can and defiantly sit in the entrance to our spawn point, fighting to the bitter end. At least I'll get the final blow of the match, which there's some satisfaction in that. And I think perhaps that Tiger driver learned that you should never underestimate a Chaffee, particularly when you've just pissed off his driver. And you should never underestimate the M15. 3 aircraft down, that's not too bad. I think I kind of like it as an anti-aircraft unit. Again, you just have to remember not to go larking all over the battlefield in it. You will tip yourself over on an incline very, very easily, and that's a bit embarrassing. So keep that in mind, and that's all I've got for you for right now. Until I see you guys again, good hunting.